everybody, welcome back to Rockfish Farm. Today I'm going to teach you how to properly back up your horse. Okay, so I've got Reese's Pieces here with me today. I haven't worked much on this with her, so I wanted to show you how I get this job done. We're going to do this on the ground as well as under saddle. Both locations are very important. On the ground, it teaches a whole lot of respect because you get to move their feet and move them up out of your space. There's many ways you can get this job done. I'm going to show you my favorite way to do this. Make sure you're doing this all the time. Back them up from the pasture, down the barn aisle, back them up into the stalls. The more you can back your horse, the more respect they will have for you, the better partner they will be on the ground and under saddle. The more respect they have, the better kid horse they are. And when I say for kids, I mean for adult beginners, for anybody really. Everybody's horse should be respectful of you. That's how you are going to stay safe. So you need a really good training halter and lead rope. Okay, you don't have to, but I recommend either the Pirelli or Down Under Horsemanship, one that has a detachable lead rope with a nice heavy buckle on it. None that are stiff. I personally don't like those. These are my favorite. So you're going to need the halter and the lead rope, and then also a stick and string or some type of whip or crop will do for this. The longer the better if you've got something like a lunge whip like this, and especially with the rope on the end. But you can still get this job done with a tiny little crop. So the reason I like to use a big fat snap on the end here is because it'll put a feel on the lead rope a lot easier. You definitely don't want one that doesn't have a snap or is a one piece, because it's just not going to put a feel on it. So get one with a nice heavy snap. Okay, I like to be able to move my horse from pressure with my fingertips on the ground. So I like to put my hand on the chest here. She's actually pretty good with that. So use your fingertips, put it on the chest, put it very lightly as if you were a tiny little gnat. Then you can move up to a fly, then you can move up to like a bumblebee is about to sting, right? So if we put our fingertips, so she's so good at this, it's hard to show you. But if I had to, okay, put my fingertips on there, wait a second, get harder, 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 and release as soon as she steps back. That's how you'll teach it. That release teaches them, okay? So if you get to this point and they're not going anywhere, you can now have your whip. You get in there and really amp up that energy with the whip, okay? But this should be done first with just fingertip touch, okay? So that's one way. See here, she stopped. Okay, she went to go turn that way. I yanked her head back to me. I don't want her to turn away from the pressure, okay? So you're gonna go back, put your fingertips on, and when she steps back, release. You wanna release that pressure. Get harder and harder until they take the step. So that's one way I like to do it. And the other way is with energy when I'm training them. I've moved you to the side so hopefully you can see. So I like to first kind of get my rope and wiggle it. So she's not really going anywhere, so I'm gonna get the energy up a little bit. So she went back there. Don't let them look away, okay? That's the key. So their eyes should stay on you. You want those two eyes on you all the time, focused on you, not anything else. So we're going to try again. We're going to start with just a little wiggle. And I like to add my finger because one day I want to point and I want them to back up like that. So she's not doing anything. So I'm going to start wiggling, kind of at my wrist. She's still not doing anything. I'm going to go to my elbow. And now she took a step back, so I stopped. Did you see how she just licked and chewed? That means, okay, I think I got it. All right, so we're gonna start with the finger again. I always start easy again. Then I move up, and she stepped back with my wrist, okay? It was just a little step, but it's okay. It's just the starting point. Start with my finger, and she stepped back with that, okay? Eventually, I want her to step back several times, but you're gonna build up to it, okay? So we're gonna back with our finger. We're going to go to our wrist, and I'm going to get her to get a little bit more energy, and she stepped out of my space. And I don't want her to move forward. She's going to move forward and come back into my space. If you have a very pushy horse like our halflinger that we had, in the very beginning when he first came, he was very pushy. He liked to crowd me a whole lot. If this doesn't work, okay, you can really get your stick and string and start amping up your energy and go bam like that on their chest. They should not run into you. That's dangerous, okay? Amp up your energy enough to where they back away from you. She's really sweet. She doesn't really crowd me that much. And then I'm going to lean over, just kind of comb the rope in, and then rub it all away, okay? Again, don't let her look away. If at first, this light pressure, I feel like this is the lighter way to do it, with just your finger, your wrist, okay? If you've got a really pushy horse, you might have to actually get in here and get some elbows and width. So you can start with just, so she's backing off of that, okay? Okay, if you have to, you can take a step forward and really get in there. So practice this all the time with your horse. Backing them from the field, just get them to back straight up wherever you're going. It's going to give them a ton of respect. It's going to work their booty muscles. Let's put her saddle on and I'll show you how to back up under saddle. All right, we are here in our pasture. I'm going to try to stay in the shade and the cool because it's starting to get hot now that the sun has come out. So we're obviously on her back now. We're all bridled up and ready to go. We're going to practice backing up. So the first thing I want you to know is we are not seesawing on the mouth, and we are not just pull, 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 pull. And look at how her face raises up like that. That is not what we want. We want a nice step back, and we want a give in the face and a rounded neck when we back up, okay? So the first thing you need to know is horses learn from the release of pressure, not the pressure that you are actually applying, okay? They're trying to find that release of that pressure, okay? So when you go to back up, I always think everybody should ride on the buckle, or at least know how to. Obviously, in certain disciplines, you're not going to be doing that. But in training mode, as I like to call it, I tell it with my kids when we're here at home, we're in training mode. So we stop at any moment, we stop dressage tests, we stop jumping, and we revert back to training mode when we find any holes in the training. So the way we get them to back up is with light pressure. So when you lift on the bridle, you see how she dips her nose? She did it just a little bit. She's new to this. But if you pick up and hold the reins, she should dip her nose like that, okay? So the way that you can do that first is with just taking both reins, reaching down as far as you need to. We're not pulling on the reins, okay? We're just taking it, putting a feel on that bit, and I'm going to stab both into my thigh, wait for her to drop her nose and give on that bit, and then I'm going to release that, okay? So she learns from that release of pressure. So I'm starting there in case you need a bigger starting point. You may be able to get on and just practice this way of backing up if you're someone who's pulling, or your child pulling to back up, or seesawing on the mouth. You want it to be a lot lighter. So if you need to go back to that bit pressure, do it, okay? All right, the next thing that we're going to do is you're going to take your reins, and you're kind of going to do the same thing, and you're going to stab your leg, and you're going to add your leg. See how she lifted her head up? She's backing up. She dropped her nose, and I released, okay? They're going to get lighter and lighter. At first, it might be like they're fighting that bit, and they don't know what to do. You just have to hold it, okay? You can see I'm not pulling back harder, harder, harder. It's just I'm putting a feel on that bit, and I'm stabbing my legs, both sides, and I'm holding it, kind of sitting back in the saddle. Again, we want to go back to that. If I sit back in the saddle and put a little feel on the bit, I want you to back up. That's what that means, okay? So we're going to stab our legs, sit back, and add a little leg. Just going forward, and we're back. And I'm releasing. At first, just get one step, and then you can build upon it, okay? So make sure if you need smaller steps also, you can get the back up without the nose first, okay? Just hold it until they find that back up. work on that a little bit. Once they get one step, then it's going to be back up, but also give to that bit, okay? So this way, your horse will get a better stop by backing up. It'll have more respect under saddle. It'll have more respect everywhere because you can control your horse's feet. You've got to be able to control all the body parts of your horse. So again, we're going to pick up on our reins. We're going to sit back, stab our legs, and add both legs on. Light, nice and light in the face. Legs take one step back. Okay, let me move up into the camera again, and we'll try it. She's got it now. Okay, I always practice my flexing to the side as well. These are big pieces of your training that you might be missing, and if you can go back and spend some time on them, man, your rides will be so much nicer and better from here forward. So take the time it needs to kind of go back to these small steps in your training. So if we put just a little feel, let's see if she's there. She's not quite there yet. Putting my leg on. She lifted her nose. There she dropped it. I took everything off. I held it. So I'm not kicking. I'm not pulling. Okay? I'm holding until she gives the response that I want. Then I release everything. So put a feel on the bit, and she's pulling on me, and then we release. I released my legs and everything. I threw my reins away. Okay? This little bits and pieces, it's going to help you over time get nice and light. Oh, yes. Look at that. Already. Just so nice and light. Okay? You want to be able to sit back and hold your rein like this eventually. And she takes a step. There we go. Good girl. Good girl. And give them lots of praise. Give them time to think in between each step back too, because it's going to help them find that answer and go, oh, okay. And horses crave resting. So when they do something correctly, then let them rest for a minute. Let them rest and think about it. You're not wasting any training time because you're telling them that they're good. Most horses, they want to know that they're being good. So let's try it again. I'm going to pick up on my reins. See how instantly now I'm picking up on these reins and she's dropping her neck and her nose. Look at that. And we're stepping back. I didn't even get my leg on yet. And release. Then you can get 2 steps, 3 steps to where you just put that light pressure on. See, it's already helping her stop. It's helping her know we're thinking backwards. She's lifting her nose. And she's still pulling on me. Now we got light there. Okay? Hold it till they get light. Pulling on me, and released it. Okay, I'll do it one more time for you. And again, you may not get it this light on the first day, okay? So work at it every single day. Put it as part of your warm-up. I like doing my warm-up as all the basic training tasks, okay? So one more time, we're going to put a feel on that bit. Lean back a little bit or sit back in our saddle. Put our leg on. She's pulling on me. I'm going to try to get her to take a couple more. There. Good girl. Thanks for joining me today. I hope this is helpful to you. Get out there, work with your horses, make them a better horse so that you can have more fun under saddle. We'll see you next time.